She had every right to stay. Mallory Pierce exhaled slowly as she slid into her window seat on the packed Airbus A320. The window seat wasn't just a preference, it was her reward. She'd paid extra for it when booking her ticket weeks ago, craving the solitude it provided. A long-haul flight was ahead, and she had every intention of spending it tucked away in her little corner of the sky, lost in a new novel with her noise-canceling headphones drowning out the world. All around her, passengers were bustling about, stowing carry-ons, adjusting neck pillows, and maneuvering through the tight aisle with polite apologies. The flight attendants moved swiftly and efficiently, performing last-minute checks and greeting passengers with practiced smiles. Mallory had just cracked open the first chapter of her book when a deep male voice broke into her bubble. "Excuse me, I need you to move." She looked up, eyebrows lifting slightly. Towering over her was a tall man, probably mid-40s, dressed in a designer suit that fit him too perfectly to be off the rack. His salt and pepper hair was neatly styled, and his polished leather shoes seemed untouched by the outside world. On his left wrist glinted a gold watch that could have paid for a round-trip ticket 10 times over. He wasn't alone. Next to him stood a little girl, no more than 6, clutching a worn stuffed bunny and staring at the floor. "My daughter needs the window seat," the man said. His tone was smooth, but there was no question in it. It was a command dressed as a courtesy. "She gets anxious during flights." Mallory blinked. "I'm sorry, but I paid for this seat." The man, Lance Whitaker, she'd later learn, seemed momentarily surprised. His eyebrows twitched, then his jaw tightened. "She's a child," he repeated, slower this time, as if Mallory hadn't grasped the gravity of the situation. "Surely you understand." Oh, she understood plenty. She understood that a man wealthy enough to wear a Rolex had failed to anticipate his daughter's needs when booking the flight. She understood that he expected her to roll over simply because he asked, not because she owed him anything. And she understood that if she looked different, older, perhaps less composed, he might not have made the demand at all. "I do understand," she replied evenly. "And I still paid for this seat. If it was that important, you could have made arrangements when you booked." A flicker of disbelief crossed Lance's face. He scoffed loudly and shook his head, then raised his voice just enough for nearby passengers to hear. "This is what's wrong with the world now. No decency. No kindness." A murmur spread like a breeze across the rows. Some passengers glanced up. Others exchanged uncomfortable looks. Mallory felt their eyes fall on her, waiting for her to cave. But she didn't. Before she could say another word, a flight attendant approached. Her name tag read Elena Rios, and her voice was calm but commanding. "Is there a problem here?" Lance jumped in before Mallory could answer. "Yes. This woman refuses to give up her seat for my daughter, Elena Blinkid. You asked her to move from her assigned seat?" "She's just a child," Lance said, gesturing toward his daughter like a prop. "She gets scared during takeoff. She needs the window." Elena turned to Mallory. "Did you book the seat?" "Yes," Mallory answered calmly. Elena nodded once, then turned back to Lance. "Sir, she has a confirmed seat assignment." "I'm not asking for a refund," Lance snapped. "I'm asking her to do the right thing. Surely the airline still values customer service." Elena's smile thinned. "Customer service doesn't involve compelling one paying passenger to surrender their seat to another, sir." "This isn't about rules," Lance snapped. "It's about compassion. A grown woman can't accommodate a 6-year-old. Mallory's stomach twisted at the way he emphasized grown woman, like she was heartless for not giving in to his performance. She could feel the narrative being shaped. Cold, unfeeling woman refuses to help sweet, innocent child. But Elena stood her ground. "If you'd like, I can check if there's another window seat available. But I will not ask another passenger to move from their reserved seat." Lance's eyes narrowed as he turned back to Mallory. "You really won't move for a child?" Mallory met his gaze without blinking. "No, I paid for this seat, and I'm staying in it." A dry, humorless laugh burst from him. He turned to the cabin. "Can you believe this? A grown woman refusing to switch seats with a child." The tension was thick now. A few passengers looked away. Others leaned closer, trying to catch every word. The pressure was almost physical. Mallory could feel it pressing in from all sides, willing her to fold, to just give in. But why was it always people like her who were expected to be the bigger person? Elena stepped closer, voice lower but more direct. Sir, I'm going to ask you one more time to take your assigned seat. Lancez nostril flared. He muttered something under his breath as he turned, but Mallory heard the last word. Typical. Elena Stefanid. I'd be very careful about what you're implying, she said, her voice steel. Before things could escalate, another passenger spoke up. She paid for her seat. It came from a row behind them, a man in a denim jacket with kind eyes and a firm tone. He wasn't loud, but his voice cut through the tension like a blade. Elena nodded. Sir, lower your voice. Lance glanced around, looking for support, but there was none. The other passengers avoided his gaze or stared silently. He turned back to Mallory. You have no shame, he said coldly. Mallory didn't move. I paid for this seat, just like everyone else. If it mattered to you, you should have booked it properly. A woman across the aisle joined in. She's right. You don't get assigned these seats randomly. You wanted it. You should have reserved it. Lances masque craquid. His posture sagged just slightly. His confidence, so firm moments ago, had started to waver. Elena leaned in for the final blow. Sir, either take your assigned seat now, or I'll have to inform the captain. The threat hung in the air like a thundercloud. For the first time, genuine uncertainty flickered in Lance's expression. Still, he wasn't ready to give up. You know what? Fine, he spat. Keep your seat. I wouldn't want my daughter sitting next to someone like you anyway. The words were designed to wound. But Mallory remained still, her gaze unwavering. Elena's patience snapped. That's enough. Sir, I need you to come with me. What? You can take your seat, or you'll be removed from this flight. Your choice. Silence fell over the cabin. Every eye was on him now. Another flight attendant appeared, eyes scanning the tense scene. Is there an issue? We need to escalate, Elena said calmly. Lances face flushed crimson. He looked toward the cockpit, weighing his chances. He'd lost. He knew it. With a final glare at Mallory, he hissed, You're unbelievable. Then, gripping his daughter's hand, he turned and stormed off. A collective exhale rippled through the cabin. Tension drained like water from a cracked glass. A few passengers nodded at Mallory. Others whispered quietly. Some smiled. Elena turned to her. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Mallory nodded. Not your fault. If he says anything else, let me know immediately. I will, Mallory said softly. As Elena walked away, the woman across the aisle leaned over with a warm smile. You handled that beautifully. Mallory gave a tired half-smile. I just didn't move. No, the woman said. You didn't. And that matters. Mallory turned back toward the window. Her book lay forgotten on her lap. The engines hummed softly beneath her. Outside, the airport was bathed in fading afternoon light. The sky stretched endlessly ahead, and she was still in her seat, exactly where she belonged.